Crowd Scene.
Hi there.
Hello.
Welcome to Crowd Scene, the show about successful crowdfunding campaigns and the people who make them happen. I'm Michael Ogden.
And I'm Peter Dean.
We've got a fun show for you this episode. Our guests are the inventors of Stickybones, who will share their story of their great success on Indiegogo. And we've got crowdfunding expert Chris Day back for more, this time asking us to spot the fake when he shares his observations on the weird world of crowdfunding. That's all coming up in just a few minutes. But first, a quick look at the news.
Okay, so I've got a lovely crowdfunding story for you this week, Mike. It's going to warm the crowdfunding cockles of your heart.
They need warming.
Yeah,
Warm me up, baby.
You should really put some pants on. So the story is this. At Arizona State University, there is a cafeteria worker who is so loved by students that they set up a GoFundMe page and they raised $2,500 to send her on her dream holiday to see the Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis.
Wow. That's very kind.
They love her so much, and
wait, why? What separates her from the rest of the cafeteria workers of the world?
Well, it doesn't actually say in this article that I'm referencing, but I'm assuming it's got something to do with big portions. Right.
And tasty soups and fish and chips.
I'm willing to believe she's an all-round lovely person. So her name is Vicky Davis, and she is, according to this article, beloved by students at Barrett, the Honors College, because she really cares about each and every one of them.
So she's going to go see the Northern Lights. She's obviously made it very plain to everyone in the cafeteria that this is what she wants to do.
Well, I'm assuming that. Again, the article
maybe
doesn't
they're
say,
just assuming. Maybe she wants to do something different.
I think there's an irony here that they love her so much that they've decided to sort of get rid of her for a week or two.
Right, exactly.
I think it's a double-edged sword to this gesture.
Well, bon voyage. What's her name? Letitia?
Vicky Davis.
Vicky Davis. Bon voyage, Vicky Davis.
Where did you get Letitia from? Anyway, what I like about this, what amused me about this is that these days we call this crowdfunding. Before Kickstarter came along, we'd have called that having a whip round.
Yeah.
Like someone leaves the office, have a whip round, buy him something. These days, have a whip round, well, let's crowdfund them a gift.
So that's the platform GoFundMe. And if people want to read more about that amazing story, Pete.
Yeah, Google it. If you want to read more about that, just find the same article I was just reading out. Look it up on the internet.
Google it. If you have a crowdfunding news item you'd like to share, write to us at hello@crowdsceneshow.com. Our guests today are Erik Baker and Lauren Baker, a husband and wife team who have launched a project called Stickybones. It's a posable model for stop-motion animators that's currently crushing it on Indiegogo.
Erik and Lauren were looking for $85,000 to make Stickybones a reality, and with 5 weeks still to run on their campaign, they've already raised $216,000.
So let's meet our guests, hear their story, and find out how they made all of this happen. Erik and Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us.
No problem. And congratulations on what is already a very successful campaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been very exciting.
I bet.
Do you feel like you can take the rest of the next few weeks off? You've far surpassed your goal.
No, it feels like we're just beginning now. It's like now it's absolutely full steam ahead. It's funny. It's like we get through that pre-campaign process, and then once the campaign starts, it's just like double time.
Double time. Well, let's set the scene. I mean, how would you guys describe Stickybones? How do you tell your friends about it?
Well, I think how we tell our friends about it is that it's just a new kind of animation art figure that's super posable to help us artists and animators create poses more quickly.
This is specifically for stop motion animation, is that right?
Yeah, actually, it's for stop motion and for computer animators as well, and artists.
And this is so it's a little model. I mean, so how tall is this?
So it's about 8.5 inches tall.
Okay. I guess the old-fashioned ones were made out of wood. Is that right? But this is a whole new, was it titanium steel? What is Stickybones made out of?
Yeah, the infamous wooden dummies that we all used in art school.
Exactly.
Yeah. So basically, it's like, kind of taking that idea and building upon it, and just like that, but on steroids, and it's not made of metal.
Okay.
We have, like you'll see in traditional stop motion armatures, they have a sort of metal skeleton that you can build clay or foam on top of. And what we want to do something different, because we're not looking to replace stop motion armatures, traditional metal ball and socket armatures, but we're looking to provide something new and something different. in traditional stop motion armatures, you have screws, and that's where you tighten the joints to the tension. And with ours, it's a ball and socket system that's essentially pre-tensioned, where there's no screws or anything. So it was critical that our materials last as long as possible. So we've done a lot of testing with that, and we found that metal, in our case, wasn't the best for that, but it was engineering grade plastics that were our best bet.
And did this idea come out of? Are you both animators? What are your backgrounds, Lauren and Eric?
Yep, we're both animators. I am, primarily a CG animator. I've been a professional CG animator working in various films. The last film I worked on was the Peanuts movie, where I got to be a lead for Fifi, Snoopy's love interest.
Oh.
And so I was working for many years in the industry until I left to actually join Stickybones with Erik right after the Peanuts movie. And so it's full-time, for me.
That's quite a leap. I mean, is that something that was that a great debate, or did you feel like ready to be an entrepreneur? Was that a big debate?
I mean, it was definitely a huge decision, but I think ultimately Erik's had this idea for so long, and I've wanted, believed in it for as long as since he first pitched it to me, which was years and years ago. And he had taken the leap himself. He left Industrial Light and Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was working at, professionally, a computer animator, and I was working at Industrial Light and Magic, and we were working on a few projects at the time, bouncing between projects, Transformers 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Unbroken. It was the Angelina Jolie project.
Oh, right.
That was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. It was a dream come true, as a kid growing up with all the Star Wars and ILM projects.
I'll bet.
So you could have carried on that track and stayed in that business, but you decided not to.
So tell us about how Stickybones came about. Was there a particular moment that sparked the idea?
When I first set out in college, even before college, stop motion is like my first love. I absolutely love stop motion, and even when I was and puppetry in general, like when I was a kid, I was a huge Muppets fan too.
Me too.
And my entire room was just, wallpapered in Muppets.
I had the pajamas.
Oh, did you?
Of course.
What was the stop motion film that you saw that stuck with you and kicked off this interest for both of you?
Well, Nightmare Before Christmas was a film for me. It's just definitely one of my favorite films of all time, and that film. For me, when I saw that, I was just like, I want to do that. That looks amazing. It was just like one of those really cool, experiences where it just kind of clicks and you get the chills and you're like, oh man, goodness, that is exactly something I want to be doing, because, this all started back in college when I wanted to be a stop motion animator. So it was my senior year. I was working on a stop motion project, and it was during that time, the seed of an idea for Stickybones occurred. And around that time, the films that were inspiring me were also a lot of the Aardman projects as well. Like I absolutely loved Creature Comforts. That was hilarious. I loved all their shorts. I don't know, in a lot of ways, like just the charming, I like the charm in the Aardman characters they create, and kind of the same feeling I get from the Muppets too. There's just something really special about it. It just does it for me.
It's a painstaking process, though, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, that's so true. It's kind of one of those things where you just have to, if you love it, if you love it, you're just in it, and it's all consuming. It requires everything, and it feels good to be in that moment, working with your hands, sculpting, fabricating, just being in it. And that's one of the things as a computer animator, like wanting to set out as a stop motion animator, the way the opportunities revealed themselves, I ended up going into computer animation, which I've loved and met so many amazing people, artists, animators, and just all around good people that become our greatest friends. It's been great, but during that time also, you start to miss that tactile experience of just being able to, you just want to reach out through your computer screen sometimes and grab your character, and you can't, you're like working with your mouse or your pen. And so that was one of the things that started, like, it was just this burning desire. It's like, okay, that original idea from, 16 years ago back in 2000 is just stuck with me. And I was like, all right, I want to finally be able to truly reach through the screen and grab this character. And that's when really I returned to the idea of Stickybones and thought, yep. Lauren and I had a conversation and said, okay, so let's pull this trigger. And she was extremely encouraging. And we did it. I said, okay, let's do it. It's now or never. And so we, after I wrapped projects at ILM, I just started the full-time process of working on the development.
And what? So we mentioned earlier about the wooden mannequins that you would move around. What problem does Stickybones solve that those did not?
One of the things with the wooden dummies was that it had a lot of limitations in terms of the range of motion, and it was also a different system. Like, it had sort of when you attempt to put it in the position you wanted, it would kind of stretch back or bend back into position. So it was almost like this flex wire system where you could never quite get it into the poses you wanted. And also had it was attached to this sort of rod, and I really wanted to just be able to take it off the rod and put it on the surface and have it be freestanding and also just feel more, I don't know, like you see it, and I wanted to see something where I felt like I was connecting to it more, identifying as an expressive human, because sometimes when I look at it, I still see a wooden dummy, but what I want to do with Stickybones is give it a keep the form still simplified, but do it in such a way where it still feels, it can emote more of the human expressiveness that we kind of resonate with.
I mean, so Stickybones is this 8-inch model, as you say, and you're putting it into different poses that you can draw from. Is it also connected to a computer in any way?
No, not currently. Okay. However, that is something that is of great interest to us. But how we've approached it is we felt like we wanted to focus on just the functionality of it first, so that it really can precisely hold all the range of poses that you'd want to see in a posable figure. And then once we can get to the point where you can really truly incrementally move it in subtle ways that holds the poses consistently, then we felt like once we have that sort of functionality, it can open things up, opportunities up.
Well, I can imagine even that with it. I mean, I know it's aimed at the animators, but that kids could potentially even use it as a toy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. We've taken it around to some of the different schools, and we've gone into the classrooms, and it's so cool to see the kids just gravitate to it and get right to banging out their own ideas and collaborating together. And I think that's been a neat thing too, right, Lauren, is to see some of the collaboration that has been going on between the students.
Well, how do you and Lauren work together? Do you have distinct roles on the project?
I mean, Eric's in charge of he's been developing this prototype for so long, and I feel like I can come in and I have an animator's eye, so he can bounce his ideas off me, and I can look at it from an animator standpoint as well. So I'm able to give him feedback in that way. Since we're, both coming into this as animators and not, this is our first crowdfunding campaign. We're both really learning all this together, and it's been really fun. We've done all sorts of researching together on how to even do a crowdfunding campaign. And
so the two of you used to go out to dinner, or go to movies, and have picnics, but now you research crowdfunding campaigns.
Now it's all about this.
Yeah, I bet.
One day this war will end. Yeah.
So before we talk about the crowdfunding, I'm interested in the name. Who was it that came up with the name Stickybones?
I guess the name that I came up with, it was one of those things where before we arrived at the name, Lauren and I bounced so many ideas. I mean, hundreds, right?
I would say hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah. And it was funny because I think everyone goes through this process where you think you've arrived at a fun name or a name you like, and then by the end of the day, you're like, I hate that name. That name is terrible.
What was one of the contenders that bit the dust?
Let's see. Do you recall?
Scopo?
Skelepo?
Scopo.
Oh, Scopo.
Go pose.
Oh, we had
Go
an
pose.
idea where we thought, go pose, which we thought was, wasn't too bad. I think that was interesting. And but yeah, in the end, we just thought, well, what does this thing do? It like sticks and holds poses, so maybe we can call it Stickybones.
Yeah, it's a terrific name. It's very playful. It also does remind me of Nightmare Before Christmas, so maybe there's a little bit of a nod.
Maybe, yeah. It's also very memorable.
Yeah, maybe. Totally.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I like to think that maybe that subconsciously it just kind of worked its way in.
I was just wondering actually. So obviously, I mean, I've seen the movie on your page, of course. How did it feel when you got the first proper model back from the manufacturer?
When Eric produced like the final one that was just like really working well, it was just such a cool moment.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like,
That was when you reached into the screen and pulled your model out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One person told us that he's like, everyone just wants a little pocket person. Just
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wonder whether there's some kind of sort of psychological thing going on, because I mean, you were talking about how the wooden models don't really cut it in many ways, and you've added a bit more, well, not quite personality, but a bit more kind of humanity to your model, I think. So it looks more like a little person. I think there's something weirdly, oddly appealing about it.
What's funny is sometimes when Lauren and I are, it's at the end of the night, we're like, okay, we're about done here, and then it's a dark room, we're on the couch, eating some Chinese food or something, and then we look over on the other side of the room, it's just like a tiny little key light, and the darkness there, and it almost looks like I was like, did he move? I swear to God, I thought he was over there.
Does he have a name? Do you guys have a pet name for him?
We do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, his sort of nickname or pet name is Xander with a Z.
Yeah.
Nice.
His name's Xander. No one really knows that yet.
No one really knows that yet, but maybe cool.
Do you want to keep that under wraps, or are you happy to share that?
I think we
could share. I don't think.
Yeah, we can share that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cute.
We'll be back in a minute with more Erik and Lauren, where they share their top tips for running a successful campaign. But first, a quick break as roving reporter Chris Day visits again to share his thoughts on the weird world of crowdfunding.
So, Chris, whereabouts in the world are you this week?
Today, guys, I'm in Scotland.
Fantastic.
Interesting, yeah.
Right, okay.
Enjoying a haggis.
So what's going on in the weird world of crowdfunding this week, Chris?
Well, Mike and Pete, there's lots going on out there. I simply can't.
Can you please?
I can't express how much is going on. It's very busy and reasonably depressing if you're not doing any of it. Looking on the internet, and I've been mainly looking at wearable tech.
Ah, okay.
Very a la mode.
That's very hip. That's very now.
Well, yeah, I kind of laugh at the face of fashion.
I think what you don't know about wearable tech, quite frankly, isn't worth knowing.
Yes, and it's probably not wearable either.
Are you wearing tech now, Chris?
I've got a belt on, which technically is
tech.
Wearable tech.
I've heard of those.
Yep.
Yeah, they plug into like a pair of pants or something, right?
Yeah, they're adjustable.
It's an animal-based app with that's fully adjustable. It adjusts to my circumstances, and I don't have to adjust to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 4 campaigns, and I want you to listen to those 4 and spot which one I've made up. And there's some kind of prize at the end of it, but I can't say what.
Okay.
But
Intriguing.
just to make it a little bit more intriguing and difficult, I've changed their names. So the campaigns have got different names.
Right.
So, are you ready to go?
Ready to go.
Let's do this.
One is fake.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'm gonna spot this. All right, go.
Right. So wearable technology. This is the first campaign.
Okay.
It's called Sunno. So the campaign goes thus: say hello to the sun again. Sunno is a smart wearable weather station which guards you against skin cancer by telling you exactly how many minutes you have until the sun rays become harmful. Keyring sized. It works via an app, making it easier than ever to know the temperature and whether or not it's safe for you to go outside.
That sounds very, very clever.
Sunno.
Are we guessing if it's a fake yet, or are we waiting until we get all 4? Oh,
No,
okay.
you've got to absorb.
Okay.
And then, because that
So what's
that
next?
sounds ludicrous, but wait till you hear the next one.
Okay.
So
Number
the
2.
next one is iRound. iRound.
iRound.
It's
This is fake.
iRound. Well, the name's fake, obviously.
Right.
So it's a portable social companion that organises your evening out via an app, recommending places to go, inviting friends, and giving you up-to-the-minute information on your destination. But it also works together with a watch-like device, which monitors your heart rate and body temperature as the evening progresses. Based on your personal medical information, will let you know when you've had enough to drink and it's time to order a cab.
That sounds ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, iRound.
iRound.
All right.
Like it.
So the third idea is simply called Gary.
Okay.
I like that. Okay, good, Gary.
Gary is a wearable posture coach designed to end back and neck pain.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for this. Forever.
Oh,
You thought it was just for
Thanks,
5 minutes
Gary.
or
Yeah.
so. Yeah, cheers, Gary. Simply wear the necklace-like device across the back of your neck whilst at the computer, and should you droop at any point, it emits a loud, irritating buzz, reminding you to right yourself and work in a safer position.
I can sort of see that happening, actually. I can imagine that being real.
Well, there you go.
It's one of those ones that fixes your back pain, but then gives you some other ache.
I think it just gives you maybe
like earache.
embarrassment, perhaps.
Right.
And that also has a companion app which gives you a technical readout of your posture habits and helps you plan a more effective work position.
Okay.
So you can imagine the music there. The final campaign we've got here is called E-Face.
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 Okay.
So the write-up is
This one's called E-Fake.
E-Fakey.
Yeah, you just spelled face wrong.
Exactly. Fake E. So E-Face monitors your skin in real time and in real life to let you know what it really needs. E-Face is a fully connected beauty mask and skin coach that analyzes your face's skin and in just 10 minutes can tell you whether you need a fresh application of moisturizing cream.
In 10 minutes.
Just give me 10 minutes and I'll tell you to put some cream on your face.
How do we know that this app doesn't just kind of randomly throw out, now it's time. It's time to put the moisturizer. It's time to put the cream on, Gary.
It's about
Put
time
some
now.
cream on.
You might want to put a bit of lipstick on as well.
And brush your teeth.
But I can't stress enough. It doesn't stop there.
No.
I can't say that too many times. It also tracks the progress of your beauty routine. I don't know what your routine is like, but mine needs help. Each mask is created based on a 3D map of your face, which you email to the manufacturers to make the mask fully customizable and personalized.
Wow.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, E-Face.
If that's real, I'm terrified.
I'm picturing you, Chris, wearing all 4 of these devices at this moment.
That is the thing about these devices. They have the promotional video which shows you using their one product in a very effortless, calm, like smug, futuristic way. And the very notion that you would use like 5 at once and look like RoboCop is completely beyond them. It's just like you have one problem and you need to fix that, and then you move on to the next one. But
you could wear all 4 of these. I mean, you could have the back and neck pain device. You could have the E-Face on. You could have something that tells you about the sun.
Hang on.
Sorry, hang on a sec. It's all right. Just time to put my moisturizer on. Hang on.
Thank God. Your
that cream
eyebrows are
on.
beginning to wilt, I think.
Yeah. Okay, that's better. So let's just carry on now.
I could be wearing all 4, but I'm actually naked. So that scotches your theory.
You conjure a good picture there.
Yeah, that told us.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I'm wearing nudo.
So, Mike, which one of these 4 do you think is fake?
Are they all fake? Has Chris
Maybe Chris is the fake. Have we? We finally figured
my
him
name's
out.
actually Alan, and I'm from Quebec, not Ontario.
Okay, I'm gonna go with number 2, the drinking beers thing.
iRound.
iRound is a fake.
Oh,
I was going to say the same thing.
Can
I say the same thing? Is it too boring to go with the same thing?
Yes, no, it's too
I think
boring.
it
You
is.
gotta,
I think
you
it
gotta
is
come up with
boring.
something else.
It's boring and impossible.
All right. In that case, I'm going to go with E-Face, the
E-Face.
app that tells you when to slap a bit of cream on.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
It's obviously made up.
This may amaze you.
Yeah.
It might even scare you slightly, but it will certainly excite you and amuse you. But I'm not going to tell you which is fake. No. But the fake one is. I'm trying to do a drum roll. No,
We'll add one in.
Okay, thank you very much. Drum roll. The fake campaign is iRound.
Oh,
Yeah, victory.
wow. Mike's doing a little dance.
One, I'm up. That's great.
So these are the other three are real. The Sono. So again, any kind of little aside I made about these products does not legally put me in an awkward position.
I think it
obviously.
Legally put you in an awkward position. That's pretty watertight, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure you're fine, Chris.
I'm not guilty of being awkward.
Okay, well that's all from the weird world of crowdfunding with crowdfunding expert Chris Day.
Got a weird crowdfunding story? Have Chris comment on it by sending us a quick email at hello@crowdsceneshow.com or a tweet at crowdsceneshow. Thanks for that, Chris. And now back to Erik and Lauren as they talk about Stickybones and their successful Indiegogo campaign.
So why did you decide to crowdfund this?
Well, yeah. So the main thing was that the tooling and the manufacturing of these is so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so expensive, and we had no idea. We first set out. We've been printing these on our laser printer, and it's been great for the prototyping. And we use our laser printer to build molds for our prototyping as well. But when we looked into doing the scaling, the manufacturing, so that we can make more of them, so we can make them affordable, that was the key to all this. We were surprised how expensive it was.
Mm-hmm. In terms of planning your campaign before you went live, was there a lot of prep? What did you guys do before you went live?
Oh yeah, now that's been the cool journey. Like the question you asked earlier about how Lauren and I work together, and how we sort of who takes what roles. That's been the cool experience. There's just so much to learn. There's like this entire new world of just the language even, and all these different tools you have to use, and that's our best use and best practices. It was just like it's really like been learning a new language.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it did take. I mean, how long were we doing it though? Like
before,
You decided to do this full time like a year and a half ago from now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left Blue Sky to do this full time. Last summer. So over half a year. But even before, I guess full time prepping for crowdfunding was a little over 8 months of full.
It's been about 8 months of full time work on
that's a lot.
It's a lot because there was a lot to learn, and we knew that we had to succeed because we're both like in this full time, and we couldn't fail, and so that's why we took all this time, right?
Yeah, and it was definitely like a ramp up process. So I mean, like going back 8 months ago, it was when we knew that we're going to be going with Indiegogo, and then we started going through different resources online and just sort of studying what we could. And then as we got closer to what we thought was going to be originally launched, then we just really accelerated and we're putting even more time into it. And I guess it was in October was when...
October is when we released our landing page to the public for the first time. Which was a big step.
And are there any things that you would recommend if someone was starting a campaign, like 3 things that they have to do before they go live?
Yeah, okay. So the 3 things we did, the first thing we did was create a private page for our friends and family, because we didn't want to we weren't ready to go public yet. And so what we wanted to do is just create a private space so that we could reach out to our friends and family and have them go to this space to look at all the visual content we had and just look at the information so they could see, okay, this is what Lauren and Erik are doing. This is what Stickybones is, and this is what it does. This is why they're doing it. And just put we had some fun images and some animation up there to help to get our friends and family excited as well.
Smart.
And so building that private page was really helpful. And then from there, the next big thing was just focusing on a great landing page.
Yep. That would be definitely like one of the biggest tips we could give is just make sure your landing page. Yeah,
and that landing page is like, we didn't even know what a landing page was until then, because what we originally thought was, okay, we're going to build this private page, and then it'll be just like a 1-page kind of thing, very simple, 1-2 pages for our friends and family. And then when we go public, we'll expand this into a full site so people could see. And then we're doing some research on and again, best practices and things and different things that people thought were useful or helpful. And we saw that, building a landing page always a good thing to do. And we're like, well, what in the heck is, a landing page exactly? And then we discovered that it's designed and structured for skimmability, being able to just get through the information quickly in a clear sort of way that's engaging, and then has one clear call to action, and that's to sign up if you're interested, and we'll put you on our emailing list to keep you informed and updated and let you know when.
So the prime purpose of the pre-campaign was just to build a mailing list, or a clear message, clear story, but also build a mailing list before you went live.
I guess how we kind of saw it was like the private champion page and the landing page was kind of like the first step for us, and kind of a 1-2. And then the second one for us was don't launch until you're ready. Yeah, that was really big for us, because in October we were actually thinking of launching in December.
Oh, right.
And so how do you know when you're ready?
Well, what we were wanting, we aimed to hit 20 to 30% of our goal in the first couple days.
Okay.
And really we want to hit 30% in our first day. And so we were keeping a close eye on our emailing list. And, the rule of thumb with Indiegogo is that they say you take about 5% of your list, and that those will be your contributors. So we were kind of working with that math. So we just opted for just pushing out a little further. And also, as we got closer to December, we thought we might get lost in the Christmas noise and all the other activities, and we'd be competing for attention, our time. So we felt like it would be better for us and better for all those who are interested in Stickybones to just push past Christmas, and then focus on creating more content, and then building out our list a little more and doing a little more outreach, and then launch in January.
And before you went live with the campaign, did it feel like stakes were high? How were the nerves then?
Oh, yeah. The nerves.
Yeah.
That was, probably the most stressful point, right, is before going live, because everything's at stake. You've put your whole lives into it.
Yeah, it was extremely stressful.
So your campaign goal was $85,000, and now we're way over 200,000. And you're only 11 days into the campaign, I think. So you've way more than doubled what you were after, and I'm wondering what you attribute that kind of early success to.
Yeah, I would say it really was all about our pre-campaign.
Our pre-campaign, and having an amazing email list full of people who this is for, like animators and artists around the world.
Yeah.
So how did you get that list together? How many names are we talking about, and how confident were you that they would respond positively?
Yeah, well, let's see. At the time, in October, we had about 3,500 people on our email list. And when we pushed it out, by the time we hit our launch day, we were just over 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really cool about it is it was really qualified list. With Indiegogo and the strategists there, that let us know that you can calculate it by looking at 5% of your list to contribute. And, based on the enthusiasm we saw, and based on the fact that a good majority of our list were animators and artists of all kinds that were expressing like a lot of enthusiasm, and we're all very excited about it. We felt like, maybe it will be more than 5%. Maybe it's a better quality list than that. And we were hopeful. And then that first day, it really turned out to be that way.
And I think one of the other things that the reason we did just so well right out the gate is we gave our email list really a lot of heads up. Mm-hmm. We led into it with kind of a countdown. I think, maybe there was like a 10 days out countdown, and maybe a 5-day, and then a 2-day or something like that. And then we made sure that they knew exactly what would happen on that day, because we had a private pre-launch only for people on our email list.
Yeah, that was something that we saw Jibbo, the campaign Jibbo. It was a successful campaign to go, yeah. And we were really inspired by what they did. For one, because the robots are super cool, and then they did just an amazing job on how they presented it. And one of the things we saw that they did was to do a 24-hour private launch, and we thought that was a really cool thing.
What's that?
So basically, you have your public launch day, right? And what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we were 20 to 30% funded before we even went public. So all of our friends and family and everyone who was looped into our email list was invited to participate in that 24-hour private launch.
So that's before you announced it to the world. You made sure that everyone that was really close to you got there first.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They and we were pretty open about that too. We we told everyone if they signed up for our mailing list, they would get on that. They would get invited to the private launch, which they did. And during that launch would be when we would have the best prices of the campaigns.
That's a good idea. I've not heard that one before.
Yeah, we want to make certain that everyone who is, looped in, that there was definitely an incentive. We wanted everyone, and we wanted to show our appreciation for everyone who was an early adopter and an early supporter. We wanted to make sure they got the very best discount.
But has it all been worth it so far?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing.
It's so satisfying to be able to do something for yourself, and also that you're getting great feedback and people are really excited about, and I feel like we're really giving people a tool that they really want. And
I would say my number one top tip is just to really focus on the closest people to you that are most excited. It's one of those things when you present an idea to someone, you can see if it resonates with them. And if you have people who are reaching out to you, or when you first tell them an idea and they light right up and they're just giving you ideas and saying, how about this and how about this? Those are the people that we want to surround ourselves with. And we found that the more we surrounded ourselves with positive, creative people who are supportive and excited about what we are doing, the greater success we had and the more momentum.
Do you find that, both of you as animators, this does become more of a manufacturing task. Is there any kind of concern that you don't get to do what you love, which is animating, and that you are actually business people or manufacturers, and maybe that's something you don't want to be doing? Is that a question at all?
Well, it's kind of cool because, in college, I was a fine arts major. And so it was kind of a combination of filmmaking and stop motion with a lot of sculpture, a lot of figurative sculpture work that I did in college. And so for me personally, it was good to get right back into. It's been really neat because it's been a balance of getting my hands on fabricating and making these things, and also the computer work still, designing on the computer, and then having an opportunity still for Lauren and I to then, take these Stickybones and then do animation tests with it. So right now it's been really actually pretty cool just being able to get back into a hands-on situation where you still get to use the skills and the knowledge we've picked up over the years as animators, and then put those right into Stickybones. It's been a really refreshing experience.
And then for me, I love animating because I love the process of discovery. My favorite film to work on was the Peanuts movie because it was so much exploration and learning, and you're doing something new because it was a new style of animation. And so I feel like with this process, it is still filling that type of need of exploration, discovery, learning, constantly being challenged with new challenges every day. So I am able to be satisfied on a daily basis with what we're doing. But granted, like Eric's saying, we still will get to animate because we're going to be doing more tests with our own product, which is really cool that we're able to do that.
I can see a future where thousands and thousands of students who are studying animation are making their movies using Stickybones. It'll be the subject of probably more films than...
What are you, applying for a job, Pete, for Stickybones?
That would be fun to see.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing how people will mod, all the mods that we'll see, really trick it out, turn it into an Iron Man or something.
So before we wrap up, guys, we always ask our guests to give a shout out to another crowdfunding campaign, whether it's past or present, that you think is cool and worth taking a look at. So what have you got for us, guys?
Lauren, you should talk about the PictoChart was a cool thing that we also use.
Oh yeah. I'll just mention this real quick, but it's a really handy tool that we've been using and continue to use. It's an online tool called PictoChart, and that's how we've been making a lot of our infographics and visuals to keep the campaign really visual.
Yeah, we have no affiliation with them. It was just
we have no affiliation, but it's just been a very nice, important part of a very useful thing to do. Even though, it's a paid service, and we're happy to pay for it because it's just been so useful.
Interesting. We'll look at that. PictoChart. Pictograph. Sorry.
Is it pictograph?
I think, is it PictoChart or Pictograph?
Oh.
Maybe you could say both and we'll edit in the right one.
Okay.
It's called Pictograph. It's called PictoChart.
Yeah, and say graph with a really high-pitched voice. That'll change.
It's called Pictograph. It's called PictoChart.
That'll
You
be
sound
fun.
less convinced about the picture chart.
We'll look
that
it up
time.
and it'll be called something else.
Yeah.
Like Picto map.
Listen, before we go, can you leave us with some words of wisdom, each of you? Is there a quote that inspires you? Any words to live by?
Oh, yeah, I think, sure. Let's see. You know, one that has just stuck with me, that really, I first heard it at a Glenn Keane lecture. When we were at Blue Sky Studios. He's did
Tarzan, or he's got a long list of credits, isn't he?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, he's an
He's
amazing
a
animator.
legend in our industry.
Yeah. And he gave this great presentation, and it was really inspiring. And it was right when it was during the middle of our development with Stickybones and the design work, and then getting ready for all the pre-campaign work when we saw this. And one of the things he quoted was a quote by William H. Murray from, he wrote a book called The Scottish Himalayan Expedition. And there's a longer quote that I love, but maybe I'll go with the shorter version, and then maybe I'll just sort of paraphrase some of it. But there's a moment in that book where he loosely refers to a couplet from Goethe, and it says, whatever you can do, or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. And I love that. And and it was one of these things where, when we were working in the studio, we loved all of our experience we had there. But it was one of these things where I knew I wanted to return to Stickybones, but I wasn't fully committed to it yet. And so one of the things I'll sort of paraphrase, he says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. And it goes on to say later that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred.
Excellent.
That's maybe the best crowdfunding related quote we've had, I think.
There's a lot
It's
of truth to
perfect.
that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's funny. You do have to commit before that door opens.
Yeah.
And Lauren, is there a quote that you'd like to share? Or
Sure. Yep. I have one. It is, if you do something out of duty, it will deplete you. But if you do something out of love, it will energize you. And I think that really speaks to choosing a project that you're going to be you love and are passionate about, because it is so much work and it takes so much energy that you're going to need an energy source beyond just normal energy. You're going to have to draw from that passion of truly believing in what you're doing in order to just, endure the burn and continue through.
Yeah, and that's something we say a lot around here, don't we? Endure the burn.
Endure the Burn's good too, yeah.
Wow.
I like that quote, Lauren. And it's nice that, as a husband and wife team, that it wasn't, Eric wasn't saying, all right, Lauren, this is the project, you got to jump on board, and out of any kind of obligation. It was something that you were equally passionate about.
Yes. Yep. I have believed in the functionality of Stickybones ever since he pitched it to me. And I know I would have been using it this entire time. Even when I was working at Blue Sky and other studios, I would just say, I wish this was already made. But so yeah, I've wanted it this whole time. So I'm so happy to be on board and help him realize this product that he's wanted to do for so long. So yeah.
Well, it looks like a beautiful product, and we're thrilled for your success, and we're grateful for your time.
It's been great having you on the show, guys. Thanks so much.
It's
Thank
been
you.
great
It's
being
been
on the
great.
show. Thanks so much, Pete and Mike.
And this will go out while your campaign is live, so people can go to Indiegogo and just search for Stickybones. But for people who are listening after the campaign is finished, where can they go to find out more about Stickybones?
Oh, once it's finished, they could go to stickybones.com. Oh, you know what? We're on Facebook as well. So if people want to reach out to us, that's always a good place. Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, and then we really try to talk to people if they ask questions or anything like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll put all the links in our show notes on the website.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Eric and Lauren, good luck these next few weeks, and congratulations. Well done.
You too.
Great. Thanks again.
so much.
We really enjoyed talking to you guys too.
That's it for this episode. Our big thanks to Erik and Lauren of Stickybones for their time and insights. Be sure and check them out on Indiegogo and at stickybones.com. As we go live with this episode, they still have 17 days left and have now raised $260,000. And our thanks to our friend Chris Day for his thoughts on wearable tech. On Twitter, he's at Wordbeard. Also, a special thanks to Rachel Castell for her excellent help on shaping the show. Crowd Scene will be back in 2 weeks on Wednesday. Our next guests are two best friends who started a peanut butter company to combat malnutrition in developing countries. They're called Good Spread. It's an inspiring story with some unexpected twists, including an exploding Winnebago. So be sure and subscribe to Crowd Scene on iTunes or any podcast app, and tell your friends to do the same. Meantime, we're on Twitter at Crowd Scene Show. You can follow us there to keep up with guest news and crowdfunding tips. We're also on Facebook at Crowd Scene Show. If you'd like to support the show, writing a review on iTunes is a much appreciated move and helps us reach more listeners. Go to the Crowd Scene page on iTunes, hit the review button, and it just takes a minute. As always, Pete and I want to thank Kim Bookbinder for her fantastic theme music. For more on Kim, do go to kimbookbinder.com. So until next time, this is Michael Ogden and Peter Dean saying thanks for listening.
Crowd Scene, gonna kick it with Pete and Mike. Crowd Scene, interviews behind the hype. Crowd Scene, Crowd Scene. What do you do? What do you say to make crowdfunding go your way? Crowd Scene, Crowd Scene. Crowd Scene, Crowd Scene, Crowd Scene. Your shake brings all the backers to the yard.
Now that's what I call epic.